before we get into all the heavy stuff, we talked a lot last episode about the new upcoming show, Last of Us. And we have both watched those. We're both up to date on the episodes. And I got to tell you, there's been a lot of big new shows that have come out over the last couple of years, right? Everything from Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, and they have just done nothing but disappoint me left and right. Every big new show that comes out, minus like The Boys, maybe, has been pretty fantastic. You didn't like the Dragons
show. You did not like the Dragons show.
Don't like the Dragon show, which
what was it called?
I love
Age of Dragons or something?
It's House of Dragons.
House of Dragons.
Yeah, because it's all about House Targaryen and shit.
Age of Dragons is a game, right? Probably.
Age of Dragons, it has to be. It's got to be. But yeah, I did watch the second episode finally last night. Third one comes out Sunday. And
thoughts?
I am fucking here for it, dude. It's cinematically beautiful.
Yep.
It's touching. It's emotional. It's suspenseful. The last episode was the first time we got to see those, what do they call them? Clickers in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like some people would call them zombies or whatever. And so I was interested.
They're just different kinds of zombies.
Yeah.
They call them clickers to differentiate them from other zombies.
Well, and they look thematically different than the standard zombie, which I really, really appreciated.
So
it's a beautiful show.
And the reason being because they got into this more in the show, which I did appreciate, that the fungus grows from your brain out. And so eventually it splits your head open. Yeah. And the longer you're infected, like the harder that plating gets. And so you start to, in the game, fight like big, like tanker style zombies that are just covered in these plates from this fungus. So you have to shoot and like break through the plates before.
That makes sense.
You can do that shit. Yeah.
I like there's some kind of like intelligence because it's all connected because it's a giant fucking fungus. And it seems more realistic. I got super into like learning about mushrooms and shit when the mushroom guy came on Rogan a few years ago, and then he came back on relatively recently. So I'm all about fucking mushrooms and fungus and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, that's a realistic concept. Like if the fucking mycelium feels something over there, it might be the same thing 2 miles away. Of course it's going to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Huge fan. But I did pull up. I was curious what Rotten Tomatoes had to say about this whole thing.
What did they say?
Surprisingly, it's a 97 from the tomato meter, aka the critic side of things, and then 96% audience score.
It's being done pretty well. I told you the only real issues that I have with it are the casting of the two main characters. Mm-hmm. I don't think that Pedro Pascal was a good choice, and then whatever that girl's name is, Bella Ramsey. Yeah,
Bella Ramsey.
Not into it.
And
so
I will say this: I was 100% on your side with the Bella Ramsey Ellie character, but after last episode, like I'm warming up to her. I'm liking it more, mind you. I'm not coming from a video game background though.
And I think that's what it is. If you had played the game, because she's not
like that.
No, it just doesn't play as well.
Mm-hmm. There's moments where she seems too old to be 15 or whatever she's supposed to be.
Yeah.
There's a few moments that have come up. I'm like, I'm not convinced that you're that young.
And the attitude thing like doesn't seem as organic in the show, and like her spunkiness, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
like there was that scene in the flooded hotel when she was like doing that little goofy thing with the bellhop and stuff like that. I was like,
and there's
it seemed a little forced.
Right, because there isn't too much of that. Like she is a child, so she is like fucking around with stuff, but there's not a ton of that. You know, I would say the closest thing is like you find comic books throughout the game that you get, and she'll converse with you about the comic books and stuff like that.
Okay.
But
I'm gonna have to play the remastered version of this show or the game.
It's 1,000,000%
because they just put that remastered version out.
One of the best games I ever played. It's 1,000,000% worth it.
Bilbo agrees with you.
Yeah,
I don't like the Bella's Ellie.
No, it's not a good choice, and I don't like Pedro Pascal.
I'm just a simp for Pedro Pascal, I think.
And that's what I'm saying to you. I don't think that he's a bad actor at all. Yeah. I like him in a lot of other shit. I don't think he was good for this character. I think this was a bad casting choice.
Did you watch the preview at the end for episode 3?
Yes.
because they revealed the Nick Offerman character
Right.
of Bill.
And that is maybe what I'm most nervous about
Yeah.
because that character in the game is so interesting, and that's my favorite part of the game is when you meet Bill and you're in his town. There's so many booby traps you have to deal with, and there's a ton of hiding and running and really tense moments, like going through different houses and stuff like that, and you get a lot of new technology when you're there, new weapons and shit like that. Big fights with lots of zombies and stuff like that, and then ending you're like pushing a truck to try and get like push start it, and so you're stopping and it's great. It's a great. That's my favorite part of the game is when you're in Billstown.
Is it as hard to kill the clickers in the game as it is in the show?
Yeah,
with their
it's
first
much more
encounter?
difficult. Yeah, you can't just shoot them because that shit on their face is hardened. So you can't just shoot them in the face and kill them. You have to shoot them like 2 or 3 times when you first start. You can keep doing like New Game Plus, and so you can upgrade your weapons and stuff throughout the game, and eventually you can.
We're going from 9 mil to 10 mil.
Yeah. Because that snub nose that Joel has is the first kind of gun that you have in the game. Is that snub nose? And so you only have. Oh no! I'm sorry. It's a semi-automatic pistol. It's just like a 9 mil, and then you pick up that snub nose right when you start fighting the clickers. When you're going through this giant
because he had that
high-rise
revolver
building.
in the.
Yeah,
and
that's what
in the shootout scene.
Right. And you pick that up in the game. You pick that up when you first encounter the clickers, because the first clicker that you see is dead, and it's a police officer, like a whatever federal officer or whatever. So you pick up his gun, and then you start working through a dark part of the building with some regular zombies, and then some clickers, and so you have to start getting after them. And you can there are shanks in the game, and you can shank them, and that will kill them, but you have to sneak up on them if you're going to do that. And they will usually walk kind of like a set path, and
Like patrol routes.
Yeah, so you have to hide from them because they also use that clicking as echolocation. So even if you're not making noise, but you're in their eyesight, then they'll bounce off and they can also see you like that. And so that's how... In the show, when it turns the corner and Joel's right there, that's how it knows that he's there, is because it's bouncing that sound off of him. So that's how they see shit, and that's the whole idea of the clicking is echolocation.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
I like it. I like it a lot. As far as TV goes, it's new zombie rules, new zombie stuff all around like that. It's different enough to be cool, I think. And so I'm a huge fan at this point. It looks like there's going to be 9 episodes in this season from what IMDb's saying. So we got a lot to look forward to.
I just saw yesterday, Bilbo said that the second season is going to be the second game. And I've never played the second game, so I don't know. I've heard mixed reviews on it.
Yeah, that'll be interesting because I hear it's just markedly different from the first one. But we'll see. I like this idea though. A lot of these showrunners these days are doing this thing where we have a story to tell, and it's going to take us 3 seasons to tell the story, and then we're going to tell the story, and then we're fucking done with it.
Yeah,
I really like that. Rick and Morty is going through some shit right now, and it sounds like that ain't going to be coming back. Because apparently now there might be some
DV
underage
charges,
stuff,
Really?
Yeah, there might be some underage stuff going on now too.
Geez.
So I don't know. I'm not going to speak to that necessarily, but yeah, I don't like the fact that, you get going into these shows long running and they keep them open ended, and then next thing you know, it just kind of falls off and then it dies, and the people that are super invested in it and it's their favorite show in the world get kind of, they get the short end of the stick because they just cancel it. That's what they're doing with fucking The Expanse. The Expanse was like my favorite shit, but then there was some issues on set, blah, blah, blah. People, maybe some Me Too type stuff or some sexual harassment, and they're like, well, we're just going to end this.
I feel like with sci-fi shows, that's really common. Not the Me Too stuff, but the quick cancellation. And because they're not... A lot of the stories expand multiple seasons, and so you could be in the middle of kind of a big story arc, and you just don't get picked up for 2 more seasons, and so that particular story arc never gets a conclusion, because there's just no more show.
Oh yeah.
So
and the problem with The Expanse too is it's all based off the books, and they're not done yet, so it's like it's just gonna end at some point. So that's pretty shitty, but hopefully we won't have to deal with that with Last of Us because it seems like it's pretty popular.
Yeah.
Nice. Anyways, that's my pop culture talk for this week. I haven't
like
done
it.
anything else pop culture other than that. I've been too invested with this fucking drama on between Crowder, Daily Wire,
Yeah.
Jeremy Quartery, and Eliza Blue. Fuck all those people. That's been where I'm at all
Yes.
fucking week,
You've
and
been
then
talking about
the
Eliza
rest of
Blue
this
all week.
shit. Hey everybody, Colin here from Salt of the Streets. Thank you for watching today's edition of Salty Shorts. If you liked what you saw, please be sure to check out the full episode right here on the Salt of the Streets YouTube channel. Please give us a like, comment, subscribe, and be sure to share this with all your friends. And you too can become a spreader of the message of liberty. Thanks.
Welcome to the Salt of the Streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought. Hope you ready to eat everything.